Hello, I'm Ray Sheen. It's now time to discuss scope planning as part of project management. We'll do that by starting with the deliverables. The project management body of knowledge, the PMBOK guide, defines deliverable as any unique and verifiable product, result, or capability to perform a service that is required to be produced to complete the process, phase, or project. Deliverables also include ancillary results such as project management reports and documentation. That's just a very long and complex way of saying the deliverables are all the stuff we have to do as part of the project. When we have the list of stuff, the deliverables, we have the full scope of the project. When all those deliverables have been completed, the project is complete. Let's talk about how we actually define the work associated with completing those deliverables. The technique we will use is called Deliverables Deployment. In this technique, we start with the deliverable and begin to peel back the layers of work to understand all the activities that must be done to complete that deliverable. This approach will help us to identify all the activities which are all part of the scope of the project. We do this by starting with the deliverable and then asking ourselves the question, what must be done in order to complete the deliverable? And then, what must be done in order to complete that? And then, what must be done in order to complete that? We keep working our way back step by step until we have identified all the activities that have to be accomplished in order to complete the deliverable. Let me give you an example. Let's say we have a test report as a deliverable for the project. In order to complete the test report, we first have to have conducted the test. And of course, even before we conduct the test, we have to create the test specimens, and before we do that, we have to do the test setup, and on and on. We repeat this process to define all the activities needed to complete the deliverable. Let's go through another example. On this page, we are working on developing a new product, and that includes creating the new manufacturing process for the project. So one of our deliverables is the manufacturing process documentation. But before the manufacturing documentation can be fully published, we have to define the work instructions. Work instructions are those directions given to the operators who will assemble the product. Well, as part of the work instructions, we also need to understand how the equipment will be used that is required to make the product. By validating the user's guide for that equipment, we will know how it works. But before we can validate the user's guide for the equipment, we actually have to have the equipment installed in the manufacturing operation and available for use. And of course, before we can install the equipment, we have to procure the equipment. And before we can procure the equipment, we have to have specified what that equipment needs to do so that the vendor is able to make the right equipment for us. And as I'm sure it's obvious to you, that before we can specify the equipment, we have to understand how this product is to be manufactured. The work is described in our manufacturing process flow, which is all the steps that the manufacturing process must go through in order to build the new product. And to create the manufacturing process flow, we need to understand the types of manufacturing processes that are required to build the components and systems of this new product. Each of these steps, each of these activities may only take a few hours or they may take days to complete. However, we know that once we have completed each step, we have completed all the work necessary to create and publish the manufacturing process documentation. We have now deployed that deliverable.